Oh, yeah! You know what time it is. That's right, it's time for the Eddie and Webby podcast! Yo, I'ma bust out some theme song action for you. Check it out. The Eddie and Webby show is the place to be. They're talking about beer and pickleball and technology. So if you didn't know, now you know. 'Cause it's time for the Eddie and Webby show.
On today's episode, Eddie and Webby prove that blood is thicker than water. This is the Eddie and Webby podcast.
You know what? I really appreciate the offer, but please tell Quincy Jones I'm just not interested in a lucrative record deal at this time. All right? Thank you. Bye. Oh, hey, how's it going? This is Webby, not Eddie.
And I'm Eddie, and this is our 29th podcast.
Oh, yeah, episode number 29. And in case you didn't notice, we're live.
We are live. We are live on Facebook from the Eddie and Webby page. We're live on Facebook from the Pickleball forum. We are live on YouTube. And for the one person out there that cares, we're live on Twitch.
Oh, yeah, we're live on so many platforms. It's crazy.
Yes. This, as we've said before, this is meant to be interactive. So if you guys have any comments for us, go ahead and throw them in the chat, and we'll interact. That's what we're supposed to do, right?
It is, and we will interact. So why don't you go ahead and interact so we can be interactive?
Yes. We'll interact the interactiveness. Man, I can't believe the episode we're going to have today. We have an extremely special guest.
Yes, indeed, a Rooney.
Yep. We have an awesome beer that we're going to be reviewing, and quite a bit of pickleball stuff's been going on. So, yeah, I'm excited for this. You guys know what we do, but before we do any of that, Webby, what's going on in Twitter?
Ah, yes, the Twitter sphere. Let me go ahead and pull Twitter up on my phone here. Here's a Twitter comment from Nacho Ma'am Brandy Savage. They say, I absolutely love your new pickleball parody music video. I thought the first one was great, but volume 2 is even better. Keep them coming, guys. Nice. I like that. Thank you.
I do agree, man. I think that these parody songs and videos are pretty awesome. So I agree. Keep them coming. Keep them coming, Webby.
Yeah, and if anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, we just recently, this week, released the Pickleball Music Mashup Volume 2.
Oh, yeah.
So let me go ahead and let's read another Twitter comment here. Here's one from Mel Gibson. It was awesome getting to learn more about the Golden Boy on the Eddie and Webby podcast, but can you at least provide your guests with a location that has electricity? Was he hanging out in a cave for most of the show or something? Yeah, so it was a bit dark for the second half of his interview. And for anybody that didn't see the whole thing, he was in a well-lit location, but the place that he was in was shutting down for the night and they kicked him out. So he ended up going into his car and it was late at night and it was very dark. So that explains why it was dark. In case you were wondering why it was very dark when we interviewed Scott Golden on the last episode, that's why.
Yes, he got the boot, but that was good. Still a good time with him, even though we had a lot of those technical issues and getting kicked out.
Oh, yeah, I had a great time. I thought Scott was a great guest. A super fun episode. Let's do one more Twitter comment here. Here's one from Rick Moraniston. I highly disagree with @DrewCarrymore about your episodes being too long. I can't get enough of the Eddie and Webby podcast, and I love that the episodes have been longer lately. Don't listen to the haters. Well, thank you, Rick. I appreciate that, and I'm glad to hear somebody likes the long episodes.
I agree. I mean, Rick, we are trying to figure out the best length for our shows, right? And right now, we're like a divided country. There's really like two big things going on that this country is divided on. Number one is politics, right? You have the left and the right. They're constantly battling it out. And the other big thing that the whole country is debating is how long should the Eddie and Webby podcast be? So we're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I can't leave the house without people on this side hounding about, man, your podcasts are too long, shorten them. But then people on this side of the spectrum, they're like, man, I love how long your episodes have been. Make them longer. So I mean, we're trying to find that sweet spot. We're trying to bring world peace here with the divide that the country is in about the topic of how long our podcasts are. And who knows, maybe this is the episode that brings that peace and unity that this country so desperately needs.
That's right. We're going to bring the country together finally once and for all. Good Twitter comments. Real quick here, I just want to give a shout out to Chris, our one Twitch follower, actually said, hey there. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris, on Twitch. It's Twitch Chris.
Twitch Chris. That's awesome. Well, I don't know about you, Webby, but I'm really excited for this guest we have today.
Oh, man. Yeah, here we are with another amazing guest that I am super excited to introduce. I still can't believe we got him on tonight. He has an extremely impressive professional tournament record in the wonderful world of pickleball that we have all come to know and love. At only 19 years old, he has won numerous gold, silver, and bronze medals in pro-level tournaments. In fact, he recently won gold in the pro men's doubles at the 2018 USAPA National Championships. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Ben Johns. Ben, thank you very much for taking time to be with us today.
Hey, how are you guys? Thanks for having me.
Doing great. Thank you very much for being here. This is awesome.
Yes, super awesome.
I say we start right off with a question. I want to ask a question that Ben has probably never heard before. How long have you been playing pickleball, and when did you first learn about it?
I've heard it once or twice. Let's see. So I've been playing about 2.5 years. I learned about it in Naples, Florida. I lived down there for a brief time, and I was a tennis player for many years. So the community I lived in, there were pickleball courts right by the tennis courts I played at, and I just saw it played one day, and then I gave it a try, and then the rest is history. So
that's awesome, man. When did you live in Naples?
Okay, so basically my family were snowbirds, so we would go down to Florida for like 4 to 5 months out of every year for about 8 years in a row.
That's awesome, man. That's where I live. I live in Naples, so that's cool that you got a chance to be able to do that.
When did you play in your first tournament?
Let's see. My first tournament was the very first U.S. Open, so it I got a good taste of pickleball pretty much immediately. So yeah, like having the U.S. Open as my first tournament was just like, hey, this is pickleball, and I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, man. I mean, just you talk about jumping into it, like that's pretty incredible. That
right.
is your first tournament. Like no easing into it. Just jump right into that one.
Right. Yeah, that's a little more impressive than my first tournament. My first tournament was a local round robin tournament, but I mean, it was a fun tournament, but definitely not quite the same level as what Ben did for his first tournament.
Yeah, that's cool, man. How in an average week? You know, I know you're in school and everything like that. Like, how much time do you typically get to dedicate to playing pickleball?
Ooh, I guess that ranges a lot. So when I'm in school and I don't have any upcoming tournaments, like in the near future, I don't practice at all. But once the tournament starts to roll around, say a week or 2 weeks before, I'll try to start getting some drilling in with some of the guys around here that play. So I'd say on average 4 tournaments at 0, and then right when they're coming up, I'd say if I can get it, I'll do like maybe 6 hours a week.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. That even with that little bit of time, you're still able to perform at the level that you do. That's amazing, man. That really is amazing.
Thanks.
So the first tournament you were talking about, was that in 2017?
No, so the very first U.S. Open was in 2016. So they just held their 3rd one this year. So yeah, I learned the game in in February of 2016, which was 2 months before the very first US Open. So I played that after I'd been playing for a few months.
Nice. So you would have been 16 at the time, or 17?
I just turned 17.
Okay.
What rating were you at that point? Like, do you remember the actual rating you entered as?
So I didn't really know much about ratings. So when I put it into pickleball tournaments, I just said I was a 4-5. Then in the divisions, I just played mixed age and I played open singles because I didn't know anybody to partner except for my one mixed doubles partner for age that I kind of learned the game with. So, and then for the singles, I was like, hey, what the heck? I don't mind losing to some good players, so I'll just play pro.
Wow. That's amazing, man.
Yeah, it is.
That's awesome. I mean, it also kind of pisses me off a little bit, right? Because I feel like I work my butt off to try and even compete at a 3.0 level. And here you come in there, your first tournament, you're like, yeah, I might as well play 4-5 mixed or 4-5, doubles, 5-0 pro. No big deal. Just whatever. That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, it's very cool to hear, but I'm not going to lie. I get a little angry when I hear about people like Ben, and we had Cassie on the show in the past who they're like newcomers to the sport. They're winning gold medals left and right. I mean, it angers me a little, but no, it's awesome. It's very cool.
How old were you when you started playing tennis?
I started playing tennis when I was 8.
Okay. Well, still, even
so
after
you are,
that's amazing.
You're currently attending college now, is that right?
Yep, I'm at the University of Maryland, sporting the Terrapins.
Nice, man.
Oh, nice. Go Terrapins.
Yeah.
What are you studying there?
I am studying material science engineering. It's a mouthful.
Wow. Material science engineering. That's cool.
I think it's interesting because almost anytime I say that, people just ask me what is that, because it's kind of a not a usual major. So it's kind of a new one. I think the department only opened that major in 1998. So it's relatively new and developing engineering, which is kind of why I like it a lot. And it's also a really small department. I get to kind of know everybody. So it's a real cool major. Happy I'm in it.
So material engineering, I'm assuming that you engineer different types of materials for like clothing and stuff. So like you're a master at cotton and different things like that, right?
So it's very applied to a ton of things. So that is, for instance, one thing that you could do with it. But I mean, it pretty much relates to any kind of anything you can think of, really. So anything you need engineering for in general, you're also probably going to need a materials engineer to help you out with that, because material is in everything. So it's kind of a crossover of chemistry and physics.
That's awesome.
Nice. Definitely something I would not excel in. That's for sure. I probably would not be too good in that subject. I'm not smart enough for that.
What made you want to go for that major?
So I was in business school for my first year, and I just started to transfer into engineering. And I kind of went for that because, one, I didn't know it existed in my first year. And then I just happened to do a project where I had to research some other majors, and I came across it. And the reason I kind of found it interesting was I realized I'd always loved like experimenting with stuff, especially in like the materials and like combinations of things. And I just really love experimenting, particularly with materials. So I was like, this is exactly what I've been looking for. And I just didn't know it was there. So.
That's awesome, man. Do you get to do any like hands-on work, or is a lot of it more like theory and lecture based right now?
So right now it's mostly theory and lecture based. And that's just because I'm doing in classes, but I actually love how UMD works here, because you get a really personal relationships with the professors you take classes from in the department. And a lot of the time they need help with the research. And that's kind of primarily why they're here. It's not for teaching, it's for doing the research that they want to do. So students get a ton of opportunities to work with professors in a lab, you can go into industry and get internships. So it becomes a lot of hands-on work once you get deep enough into the major.
That's awesome.
Nice. I got to give a couple shout outs here. We've got a couple people that have left some comments. We've got Jay Hall and Scott Golden. They said, "What's up, fellas?" And Jay actually said, "Here's an idea." This is going back to the Twitter comment we had about how long our episodes were. He said, "Don't have a standard podcast length. Just have them as long as it takes to get that week's content in for the viewers. Keep killing it." So thank you, Jay, for that comment. And we actually got a comment here from somebody by the name of Kyle Yates. He says, "Ben loves experimenting in college."
Yes.
What does that mean?
I love it.
As Kyle would say, don't worry about it.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Man. Oh.
So Eddie, I don't know about you, but like, did you just get nervous, a little more nervous now, knowing that Kyle Yates is watching? Because I kind of did.
A little bit. I wonder, is he eating his first, or is this time for first dinner, second dinner? I'm not sure which one he's eating.
I believe
right
this
now.
is the first. I would think this is first dinner time. So Kyle, I don't know if you're still watching, but did you just have your first dinner, or is it almost second dinner time? I'll be sure to let everybody know if he lets us know. But anyway, moving along here. So Ben, does your school have a pickleball program by any chance?
Ooh, well, as you probably know, most schools don't really know of pickleball yet, but I'm doing my best to start it here. I started a pickleball club. I'm the president. Surprise, surprise. And I've just been trying to get a lot of my friends that are on the tennis team to try it out. I was just really busy this semester, so I only got to run it once, but I got a fair number of people out, and they all loved it. So they're all asking me when we can do it again. So I'm sure it's got a ton of room to expand. I just haven't gotten around to it yet because I'm lazy.
That's cool, though. I mean, it's not like you have a lot on your plate or anything, right? You know? Yeah. You're just out winning titles and, you know, playing all these sports, going to school. Yeah. You know, it's not like you're busy or anything, right?
So
Eddie, are you like me? Like,
balanced.
oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say it's all about balance. I feel like I know people that do even more than me. So you know, I just try to do what other people do that are real industrious. And I still think I'm lazy sometimes.
Yeah. I guess if that keeps you motivated, then that's cool. What were you saying, Webby?
Oh, I was gonna say to Eddie, like, how much does it bother you that pickleball wasn't as big of a deal back when we were college age? Because I wish I was playing pickleball back when I was younger, but like back then I feel like nobody knew what it was.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, this is a sport that I feel like had we picked up back in the day, I feel like we'd be so much more advanced by now. I mean, I used to play racquetball all the time, just kind of recreationally, and I feel like that helped with learning to play pickleball. But had we had pickleball, I think I would have played it nonstop. I don't think I would have ever stopped playing it. You know, it would have been my sport of choice for sure.
Yeah, I would have spent so much time playing pickleball. It bums me out, but oh well. I'm just glad that I found it at this stage in my life and not when I was like 80 years old or something like that. So at least I should be thankful and grateful for that.
Well, I feel like most people do, you know, especially down here in Naples. Most people find pickleball when they are entering their, you know, retirement years of life as well. So I do feel grateful that I got to it before that point. But yeah, I would have loved to have started it when I was younger for sure. Yeah.
So Ben, one thing that you are very well known for is having an amazing backhand roll. How did you get so good at that?
Oh, the backhand roll. That's definitely my favorite shot. So I'd say that shot comes from the crossover sports I played. So obviously tennis, but that shot more came from table tennis. I don't know. So in table tennis, what you call a similar shot there would be a backhand drive, which is kind of like just a heavier kind of backhand with a ton of spin. So it's kind of a similar motion in pickleball. And it's not really what you'd consider a tennis shot, because any volley in tennis you hit is not hit with topspin generally. So it's more table tennis than tennis. So I think I got it mostly from that. And it turns out that my strategy is basically pretty one-dimensional when I'm up there. I'm almost always just looking to hit that shot because I feel like it's very hard to defend just because it's very difficult to read and if you place it in the right place, you can't really attack against it. So that's almost my only strategy while I'm up there, is just to get that shot eventually and put it in a tough spot to get to. And at worst, they get it back, and they hit a good block, and at best, I get a point. So that, I just feel like it's a shot that's perfect for anyone's repertoire, just because it's very hard to defend against.
Nice. Do you
Very
practice
nice.
that one often when you're doing drills and things like that?
Yeah, so in that one, I wouldn't say I really ever drilled that one much. That one, I feel like I developed mostly just in rec play, kind of naturally, and practice play, of course. You always practice when you're playing, even if it's rec. And I guess I kind of realized how effective it was eventually, and then I just tried to hit it as much as I possibly could, even when I wasn't good at it. I did it as much as I possibly could, whenever I could, and eventually the reps kick in.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah. So there's a question that Webby and we don't really see eye to eye on, and we want your perspective, since you've spent a lot of time in Naples and warmer climate year round, and then now up in Maryland. Is pickleball an indoor sport or an outdoor sport?
Okay, well, that's kind of a tough question, because almost everyone I know, and myself included, prefer to play outdoors. The problem with that is sometimes the conditions can be a little tough. Say if it's really windy, obviously it's a wiffle ball, it's going to blow around everywhere. So that makes you want to say it's an indoor sport. So I would say if the courts were numbered enough. So the thing is, pickleball is really easy to play, right? Because you have so many tennis courts around the country. So you can just put up a pickleball court almost anywhere, just with lines and a net. Whereas indoor courts are a little tougher to find, just because they're usually like tennis clubs and stuff. So what ends up happening is we put the lines on a gym floor in like in a YMCA or something like that. And gym floor it's not very fun. You got to play with a real rubbery ball. It's just a completely different game. So I never play on gym floor, and I don't really like it very much. But if you could play on hard court indoor, I love that. That's great, because you got ideal conditions and you're still playing on a hard court. So if it's indoor on hard court, I'd say it can easily be an indoor game. But at the stage we're currently at, where it has to be on a gym floor when you're indoor, I would just say it's an outdoor game.
All right.
Nice. That's a great answer.
Yeah.
I've
It
typically
was
been
right in the
on
middle,
a
I
team.
think.
Yeah. But I've typically been on team indoor. I'm from Michigan, so half the year is like super cold and horrible. So most of my game time is spent indoors. So I'm a little more used to it. And I mean, I definitely love playing outdoors, but again, because I'm in Michigan, I feel like the outdoor situation with the weather conditions, it can make things not so fun if it's a windy day, or even if it's a super sunny day, because we don't have like any covered courts and stuff like that. But yeah, I definitely understand why people prefer outdoor courts, but I've had the elements affect me negatively too many times to where I'm like, I'd rather just consistently play indoors.
Yeah, I've been playing in the Florida State Championships down here at East Naples for the last 2 days, and some of the new courts that are off in the back, they didn't have any of the windscreens up, and both days there was a pretty heavy cross court wind, and even in some of our dink rallies, you're trying to do a cross court, push your opponent over, and it lands a foot out of bounds, and you're just like, oh, I get so frustrated with that. So I definitely understand, but I think that's also part of the fun. To me, you have a strong windy day and you're rotating sides. It's kind of like the great equalizer, right? Like rain in football. It kind of really, it brings the best out of people, because now you have to take that element into effect. So I don't know. This debate, we're never going to, I don't think Webby and I are ever going to see eye to eye on this one. But
I think it's cool though. Like the wind can it can be really fun if it's like a slight wind, but then once you get in that gale of like 25, 30 miles an hour, that's when you want to stop playing.
Right.
There's actually wind brings to mind the one tournament. My first tournament I played with Kyle Yates a long time ago, and we played in, oh boy, it was at least 25 mile per hour winds. Still remember that day.
that's awesome. Where was that?
Man, that's crazy.
That was in LaBelle, Florida. At an RV resort, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in kind of the middle of nowhere, Florida. I remember having to drive a long way to get there.
Nice.
Yeah, and one thing you mentioned, you talked about how sometimes it can be fun, if it's a slight wind, to try to use that to your advantage and stuff like that. I did have a little bit of fun at one of the times I played outdoors. I feel like I'm pretty good at adapting to the conditions, so it can be kind of fun if you're good at adapting to the weather conditions better than your opposing team, because you could definitely take advantage of that. So I can definitely see that side of it too. I did kind of enjoy it. There was one time where I played outdoors where it was slightly windy, not too bad, but enough to affect the game, but in a fun way. So I definitely see your point there. But we can't have Ben Johns on the show without talking about nationals. Nationals
Yeah.
recently happened, and he had a pretty good turnout there. And one thing, I have a lot of respect for you to go and agree to team up with an unknown rookie in the men's division. That was a pretty bold move on your part. No, I'm just kidding. So as everybody knows, Ben, or as most people know, Ben teamed up with Kyle Yates. That's pretty awesome person to team up with. How did that partnership come to be?
Okay, yeah. So Kyle, first of all, the GOAT, the veteran of all veterans. I couldn't have asked for a better partner. So Kyle, I met originally nearly when I started playing. I met him at the US Open in 2016. So April of 2016. I got to know him better over the summer at a tournament I played in Michigan, and then a little more at Nationals that year. And then I really we got to know each other a lot better in 2017 when I went down to Florida, and I was there from January till May. And that year was when I started playing a lot more. So we drill a lot together. We play a lot together. And that was when we first started playing just a few small tournaments together. And then let's see, over the summer, I think we played against each other quite a bit because, you partner so early in pickleball, it happens a lot. So yeah, I played against him a lot that summer. So we just kind of got to be a lot better friends, especially from that time in the spring where we played a ton together. And I guess we confirmed playing some tournaments for this year. During that summer, we planned for next summer. And at Nationals that year, he asked me to play Nationals of this year. So that's about how it came to be.
Nice.
Yeah, it seemed like that was a good partnership that obviously landed some pretty good results, and I'm sure it will in the future as well. Another thing about Nationals, though, that we heard a rumor about is that you weren't feeling so well. Can you talk about that at all?
Yeah, sure. So let's see, on doubles day. Okay, so one thing that I guess some people know about, I'm not sure. I did have pneumonia for a few weeks leading up to it, but by the time I came to Nationals, I was feeling pretty good. I'd been playing, so I didn't think that the pneumonia was affecting me. And I felt good on Thursday when I got in. I felt good all of Friday when we played. And then Saturday morning, I don't really know exactly what happened, but I wasn't feeling very well. My stomach hurt a lot. So basically what ended up happening is I played my winner's bracket final with Kyle against Matt and Dave. And then between the bronze medal match where I played Daniel and Marson, between that, over my rest from the previous match and before Marson and Daniel, I really started to feel a lot sicker. And then right before that match, I threw up just a ton of liquid. So I knew something was not right. And I never really found out what it was. The first aid tent thought it was the flu. So it could have been a relapse of the pneumonia. I thought it felt more like food poisoning. So I wasn't really sure. But I felt better after throwing up. And we went on to win that match. And then it was really rough to eat anything. I knew it was going to come right back up. But we had a little bit of a break, so I went to lunch, tried to eat a few things, and then I threw up quite a bit more before the final match, and then we played the final, and there was that. So, and I guess adrenaline kicks in, and I wasn't feeling so bad during that match. I mean, I felt normal, and I mean, maybe even better than normal because just the adrenaline hits me. So yeah, that was how I was feeling, but I wouldn't use it as an excuse for anything. I'd say, once I was playing, it was not really too much of a factor.
Man, I don't know about you, Eddie, but as a spectator, I had no idea that you were sick like that. But then I started hearing people that were commentating. They were talking about how sick you were, and I was like, man, he looks like he's doing pretty damn good to me. I mean, it doesn't seem sick. But yeah, a lot of people that were there were talking about how sick you really were.
Yeah, it's you just gotta deal with some conditions sometimes, and it just happened to hit me at a rough time.
Yeah, like the worst time to ever be sick. It hit you. Right. Well, glad you're able to push through, man. What about after the match? Like, after the adrenaline started to clear your system, did you start to feel like crap again, or were you good?
It was really bad. I think Kyle remembers this. During the medal photos, I thought I was gonna throw up, like right on camera. So I leaned over to him and told him, he's like, "Hey, control yourself. You cannot do that right now. Don't spoil this for me. You got to hold it in, man." So I was like, okay, I can do it. So yeah, I was feeling really bad once the adrenaline kind of stopped, and so I just tried to get to bed as soon as possible.
Oh man, that would have been rough.
Oh man, I could just see it now, like on the cover of ESPN magazine. Just Kyle getting his medal, and then Ben just blowing chunks all over his feet or something.
Yeah, off to the side. Oh god, that would have been nasty.
Does ESPN even have a magazine? Is that even a thing? ESPN magazine? It's the first sports-related thing I could think of.
Well, come on, it should be a thing. They need a genius.
Yeah, that's right.
Webby, tell ESPN they need to hire you.
I like it. Eddie and Webby ESPN. See, ESPN, you could have this kind of witty talent on your magazine.
Yeah. Who comes up with this stuff? Webby does.
That's right.
Yeah.
I want to go to Facebook real quick. We do have a few comments here. Paul Olin, I know you kind of covered this a little bit already, Ben, but he said, Ben, so how often are you practicing while at college?
Okay, so Paul Olin, he is actually my main practice partner while I'm here at school. Anytime
nice.
I'm drilling, it's usually with him. So he's kind of my local guy around here. Great guy, so fun to drill with, just because he's consistent, and I mean he's down for anything. He'll play anytime I can. So really, it's me that holds things up. So yeah, his question was how often I practice at college.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Paul, you should know. Yeah, so when I don't play, like I said before, with when the tournament's not real close, I wouldn't say never, but we don't get to hit very often. But then once the tournament gets closer, I try to schedule some stuff with him. Sometimes we'll get a foursome if we happen to have a few other guys that are available. But yeah, I'd say up to the tournament, I'd drill at least twice a week with him for a couple hours. So like probably 6 hours a week if I can get that. Maybe a little more if it's getting real close to the tournament.
Webby, you should have mentioned that after his question, he had 2 angry face emojis after it. So I think he was trying to bait you there a little bit.
Right.
He was looking for the credit. You deserve full credit, Paul. Main practice partner.
That's awesome.
And then we also have another comment here from Jessica Woodrich. She says, "Where can I get an Eddie and Webby sticker?"
Oh,
that's a great question. All
What's
I can
answer,
say
guys?
is stay tuned. All I can say is stay tuned, because we have some stuff in the works as far as merchandise, but right now we can't say too much more about it.
Mm-hmm. We were talking about nationals. Yeah. So that gold medal match, man. I mean, God, that thing was unbelievable. Ton of back and forth excitement going on. Like, can you kind of walk us through like how you feel about how that match went down?
Yeah, sure. So I felt I felt pretty good going into that match. I felt like Matt and David kind of played like lights out in the winners bracket final, and I was hoping they weren't going to play exactly like that in the final. So I guess our strategy going in was pretty much just grind things out. So Matt and Dave's defense is it's really incredible. At any ball you think you can attack that you normally can attack against almost anybody else, you don't want to attack against them just because their hands are lightning fast. So you really got to choose your balls really wisely. So Kyle and I both agree that we should just try to grind them out, dink more than we really ever usually do, just because the balls that you can't attack, you really got to make sure that ball is the one that is not coming back with some pace on it. So that was a strategy going into it. Game one, I felt like it went pretty similar to the winners bracket final. I don't think we stuck to the plan quite well enough. We were definitely attacking balls a little earlier still than we should have, and Matt and Dave pretty much punished that. So that kind of went as I guess as it should have. Then game two, I guess we realized we really need to just, we're not going to lose this just hitting away. Let's try to grind and see what happens. So that was kind of my view on it. And that second game was just so tight. It was a lot of back and forth, and that I think came down to adrenaline and just a few key points, like just whoever really wanted the point and really came through under the pressure. Those few points right at the end really mattered. I know there was a point where we were down 10-9. They had 2 match points, and those points were just so tight that they could have won it almost at any time. And I really thought they almost had it at one point, because I know Kyle was on defense in their first match point, and he clipped it right over the net, and my heart just stopped when it hit the net. I was like, oh, that's it. No. And then it just trickles over, and we ended up winning that point. And then in the second match point, I remember it was kind of long, and then Kyle got swung wide, and he tosses up a lob over Matt Wright's head, who, in my opinion, has the best overhead in pickleball. Yeah. So to bring that out, I think everybody was surprised except him. And then we ended up winning that. And I just think that how gutsy that move was kind of gave us some momentum to win the next few points. And the next 3 points we won with driving all 3 balls. And I feel like that, just as even a general tip to people, I feel like when people get really tight, a drive can really do a lot, because if you're tight, your touch might be not quite so good. So your third balls float a little high, or you miss them. And your opponents are a little tight, so their blocking may just be like they kind of have some indecision. And you actually see that with what Kyle did the first one. He hit a drive through the middle, and they didn't even touch it. And that's usually because when you're tight, your communication gets a little worse. And I feel like they just didn't communicate with each other, and it went right through. So I think it was a really smart move on his part, because most of the time we were dropping the ball, because driving the ball against those 2 guys, Matt and Dave, is just not a good idea.
Right. Yeah.
But he really chose the right time to do that. And then I kind of latched onto it. He hit another one. Dave missed that one. And then I hit one, and he finished with a poach overhead. So I think he got us that momentum with the lob, and then he really chose to drive the ball at the right time. And then just getting the momentum from that game was huge. We got pumped. I started feeling a lot better because my adrenaline was, on overdrive. And then game 3 and 4, I mean, we just kept that up, and it just felt so great to play kind of uninhibited. We were all over everything.
Yeah, that was an amazing match. That's for sure. That, like you were talking about that lob shot that Kyle pulled off too. When I saw that, I was like, whoa, did that really just happen? And it worked.
Right?
It was like, whoa, what did I just see here?
Yeah, that was such an epic game-changing moment. And like that match was so exciting to watch. It was awesome. But so Ben, you have a very impressive record both in doubles and singles. What would you say your preference is between the two, doubles versus singles?
So I would say I like doubles more, typically because the points are longer, and it's I shouldn't say more strategic anymore, I guess. Yeah, I'd say singles, it's pretty brutal. Just the amount of running you got to do and how you got to grind stuff out. It's not as fun for me, and I like having a partner. So I'd say doubles is a little more preferable. But as far as strategy goes, I feel like singles used to be just crush the serve, crush the third ball, and the point's almost always over. Like it's either a serve miss, a return miss, or a third ball winner or miss. But I think the game's developed a lot, and I think it's gotten a lot more interesting to watch and to play because the points just go so much longer now. People are hitting drops and coming in. They're not quite the same kind of drops as doubles. They got to be even more precise and low, and you really got to cover the court well. But because of this, I mean, the ball doesn't bounce very high, so it's still hard in singles, even though the court's more open. It's still hard to put points away. So it can be really interesting if you got a couple players that really have a lot of really good consistency and they get to a lot, and the points can just go on and on. You get around the net, you can get around the net back. It's gotten so much more dynamic and just so much more fun to play and dynamic to watch. So I still prefer doubles, but I think singles has come a long way.
Nice. And then, I get this question a lot. What do you feel like the biggest differences are between men's doubles and mixed doubles, both from your strategy for playing and also the experience that the audience gets while watching people playing that?
Okay, so I guess I'll go with the audience one first. I personally love to watch mixed doubles. It's really fun to watch. Although women's doubles might be my favorite to watch. So I'll just kind of go over each of them. So men's doubles, I feel like there's so much dinking, and once somebody floats it high a little bit, the point is almost, I mean, you definitely see guys with really good defense, but I feel like their attacks are so good that once they attack the ball, the point's usually over kind of fast. And I really love the points where you have multiple attacks, you got multiple resets, and you just got the shots going back and forth. I feel like you really see that in women's doubles a lot because all the top girls, their defense is just incredible. Like I feel like I look at some of these girls' defense, I'm like, my defense, it's not that good. I wish it was. But I'd say their attacks aren't generally quite as good as the top guys. So you see these really good attacks, but then you got the girls just getting them back over and over. They'll reset it, then the other team will attack, and you got these really, really fun points where it just goes back and forth. So I really love watching women's doubles, and I'd say mixed doubles is kind of similar in that respect, with a little difference. So most of the time you see the girls dinking a lot with each other, but I'd say it also gets a lot more dynamic because you got strategies where the guy will get into it a little more. You'll have some teams where the guy just kind of lets the girl do her thing and puts a little pressure on, but doesn't really try to encroach on the court a ton. And then you got the girls attacking the guys, you got girls attacking the girls. And you definitely get that thing from women's doubles where you got the players attacking the ball and players getting it back and just the points going on and on, which is really fun to see. But I would definitely say the strategy might vary a little more in mixed doubles than the other two because there's just so many ways you can go about it. And I guess that kind of addresses how the audience views it. I know I love it, so I'd say I would guess the audience loves it. It's so fun to watch. From a strategy viewpoint, your partner is going to make a huge difference on strategy, obviously. But with each partner, your strategy can vary so much with that person. So it's like you got a ton of different ways you can go about it. I'd say my general strategy is I'm fairly aggressive in mixed doubles, and I definitely encroach on the court a lot. And that's not just to take. I feel like it's a misconception when some people as an audience see the guy going way over there and taking the ball and just like hitting a little dink or something. They're like, what is he doing to stay? It's like, what is his ego really big to stay off of her court? And I know I do that a lot, so I kind of wanted to explain that. And I would say we know the girls can totally hit those shots. It's more about applying pressure. I think pressure in this game is hugely underrated. And when you're moving a lot, when you see some players that kind of move over, whether it's men's doubles, women's doubles, or mixed doubles, when you kind of see them moving over as, say, two players are hitting cross court, that makes that person hitting cross court, your opponent, just want to hit better shots. So it makes them miss more often, right? So if you go over there and take a ball when you know you're not going to get burned down the line, it starts to put more pressure on players. That's one thing you can do that's kind of interesting about mixed doubles, where it's much different than men's or women's doubles. So you might see it a little bit, but yeah, like you take an example like Marcin Respetsky, he'll do that in mixed doubles, but he'll do that in men's doubles too. He gets guys at that where he'll if his partner's getting hit to a lot, he'll move over and apply more pressure, and that'll just make people make mistakes. So I feel like that's an underrated part of the game, and it's a huge part of the mixed doubles game, which I like a lot. It's very cool. For the girls, I think the strategy is really interesting because they can they usually target the other girl, but they also got to be really aware of burning the guy like down the line if people are stacking and stuff. So it's a really interesting strategy for them, and I think it's a lot of pressure on them because when you're getting hit to that much, it's got to be nerve-wracking, right? So as the guy, I feel like it's easier to play loose and stuff, but I think they have the way harder job. They gotta be hit to generally more. They're usually the one that's supposed to be more consistent, although not always. You got some aggressive girls that are really good at that kind of strategy. So strategies can really change in mixed doubles like that. But I think it's really interesting how the strategies change between teams and the actual team you have between people. And so yeah, it's just so varied in mixed doubles, which is really cool. Yeah, I guess that's about it.
That's awesome.
Nice. Yeah, great insight there. I do want to go to Facebook. We have a couple messages here. I'm not sure if this is an inside comment, like an inside joke or something, but Jay Hall wanted us to ask you if you know any good brain teasers for the audience to guess the answer to. Winky face, winky face.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm a little bit known for that. In certain circles, he actually came to, let's see, that was in Charlottesville, Virginia. I did some teaching there with a few other pros, and he was in there. And we had a dinner night right at the end. And I love like trivia and brain teaser problems, so I gave them a few, and some of them really enjoyed it. So I know Jay probably enjoyed a few of those. So yeah, Jay, I do have a few. I'll give you a new one next time I see you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have any that you would want to give here, and we'll see if any of our viewers can guess the answer? Or
all right, let me think. Oh, let's see. One of my favorite ones. All right, have you guys ever heard about the truth teller and the liar?
I don't think so.
No, you haven't heard about that one? All right.
No.
Have you ever heard of the Monty Hall problem?
No.
Never heard of that one?
Can't say that I
All right. Pick one and I'll give it to you. One of the two. What sounded more interesting? One's more logic and one's a little bit more math like. Which one do you want to hear?
I say logic.
The logic.
Yeah,
logic.
Okay. These guys don't want the math. All right. So the truth teller and the liar. All right. You got two doors. All right. One leads to something you really, really want. One leads to something you really, really don't want. Good door, bad door. Pretty simple. All right. You don't know which door is which. You have one guy that is exclusively a truth teller and one guy that is exclusively a liar. All right. One can only lie. One can only tell the truth. And you don't know who's who. You have exactly one question that you can ask either one of them, but you don't know who's who. And you want to get through the good door. What would you ask?
Oh man.
All right,
like
you guys got 1 minute.
What?
Oh man. Well, because if you say like which one, or if you ask one of them, are you the liar? Because the liar would say yes. The truthful guy would say no. I don't know.
No, I think that's what you would have to ask. Is you'd have to ask, are you the liar? Because the liar would say that they aren't the liar, right? And then the person telling the truth would say that
they aren't the liar.
Not the liar.
they aren't the liar. You're right.
Your logic flawed there.
Not only that, that is one question. And even if you did find out who's who, that's your one question. You still don't know which door's which.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're struggling with a 2-question one.
Oh man. Well,
All right,
you know,
see if any. Facebook got it.
Yeah, let's get those Facebook or YouTube
Jay
comments.
Hall, if you remember this one, don't spoil it.
Yeah, no spoilers, people.
So far, we don't have an answer, so I'll read one of the other questions while we wait for the answer. Hopefully, somebody can get it to us because my brain
we'll come
is
back to that.
boggled right now. We got one. Here's a comment from. All right, we've got one from Stephen Westman. He said, "Hi, Eddie and Webby. Love your podcasts. Hi to Ben as well. I'm going on a pickleball trip to Mexico in January, and Ben will be there. Looking forward to playing with you."
Awesome. Yeah, that's from I guess that's in the Mexico, January 7th to 13th. That's with my new company, Pickleball Vacation Adventures. So he's coming on the all-inclusive vacation. So I'll be very, very happy there on my time off and winter break. And I'm looking forward to playing with all the participants too.
Oh man, we need to get in on that, Webby. That sounds like fun, man.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
We've definitely got to have Eddie and Webby at one of these all-inclusive pickleball vacations one of these days for sure.
Hey, Webby, real quick, before you move on to the next one, I see on YouTube that Stephen Westman also wrote on there, "Hey, Eddie and Webby, love your podcast. I was one of the guys you played at the Beer City Open. Wish I knew of your podcast before we played." That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah. I didn't realize
very
that was
cool.
the same
Thanks
guy,
for thanks for tuning in, Steven. Thanks for the comments. And if you're still watching, were you in the first round that we played against, or were you in the losers round that we played in? Because
do you mean the team that held us to no points?
Did you guys go 0-2 out?
Oh yeah.
Come on, guys.
Oh, we got our butts kicked, man. Yeah, I was gonna ask, are they the team that held us to 0 points, or the team that allowed us to score like, what was it, 3 that we got?
Yeah.
And
the team that either held it. Yeah. Either way, they shattered our dreams. Either they didn't allow us, his team either didn't allow us to score any points, or his team knocked us out of the Beer City Open. So either way, we're not a fan of his team. No, but we love that you're a fan of the show.
Hey, Webby, I think I might have an answer to the brain teaser, but I don't know if we should go to a couple more Facebook questions and then come back to it.
Let's do a couple more Facebook because we do have a couple more comments here. Patty Bennett Adkins says, "Patty B here. Can you ask Ben what he hopes to accomplish in pickleball over the next few years?" That's a great question.
Okay, yeah, that's a great one. So I guess my ultimate goal, I guess the most lofty of goals I have, would be to win the Triple Crown once. When at one of the majors. So the majors I classify as U.S. Open, Tournament of Champions, or Nationals. And the Triple Crown would be getting gold in each pro division. So at any one time, I've only won gold in one division of the majors. So my goal, ideally, would be to get all 3 in one go. Other than that, I would say, let's see, next year. Obviously, I guess everyone's goal is the same at the pro level. Win as many gold medals in the majors as you possibly can. So I'm looking forward to next year. I think I got a good lineup of partners. I'm lucky in that respect, and I'm gonna try to win as much as I possibly can. That is my ultimate goal. Other than that, gosh, does it sound terrible to just want to win?
No, I think
not
it's
at all.
It's honest,
Not at all?
right?
No? All right, then that's my honest opinion or honest assessment. Yeah, I want to win as much as possible.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I want to do in a tournament is win. So far, I don't have many wins in tournaments. I did win a gold medal in a 3.0 tournament, but in every 3.5 tournament I've done, not so much in the win category.
All right, Webby, we need to get you on one of these pickleball vacation adventures ASAP.
Yes.
We need to get you to that 3-5 level.
Yes.
That's awesome.
All right, let's do a couple more Facebook comments here. Jay Hall said, "I'm quiet as a church mouse," so he's not going to spoil the answer to the riddle for us. And then here's Stephen Westman got back to us. He said, "I was in the loser round. We won like 15-2." Haha.
I thought it was at least 15-3, wasn't it? Didn't we? I mean,
I'm pretty sure we got at least 3 points, maybe
Yeah.
even more. He
That's
did say
awesome.
it was a closer game than that, though, so I think he was kidding. So,
All right. Thank you for helping our reputation there, Stephen.
all right. So I say let's find out what the YouTube commenter said as far as the answer and see if they're right.
So
Ooh.
this is actually from somebody who I think is very intelligent, and that's my father, actually, Dave Atkins.
Oh,
He wrote
nice.
the answer, or the question to ask is, which is the bad door?
Okay, so that won't work because you don't know who's the truth teller and who's the liar. So if you ask the liar, he's going to give you. So you asked him which is the bad door.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to tell you what the good door is,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't know if he's the truth teller or the liar, so you don't know whether to believe him or not. So that one will not work because you don't know who the liar and the truth teller is.
Okay. Wow.
Because
I do feel like that's a really good question,
they-
though. I thought that was a very good answer.
Yeah, I
So,
agree.
basically, if you have door A and door B, and door A is the good one, if you ask the truth teller, but you don't know who he is, you're gonna like, which one's the bad door? He's gonna say it's B. And then the liar, you ask him, you're gonna go, which is the bad door? And he's go, oh, it's A.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know which one to believe. You got an A and a B. Basically, you need here's a big hint, guys.
Oh,
You
I think I
need
just figured
to
it out, but
ask
go
a
ahead.
question. You need to ask a question that gets them to give you the same door.
I think I just figured it out.
All right, let's hear it.
You need to ask, what would the other person say is the bad door? Right? Is that right?
Oh, nice. You got it.
Very
nice
good.
work.
But then you got to go with the opposite door of what they tell you.
Right.
Think about it, guys.
Because
It'll give
they're
you the
both
correct answer.
Yeah, because they're both gonna say the same door, and then you go through the other one, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Well,
Right,
if
because
you
the
ask
liar
about the
is not going
bad
to tell you. Yeah.
then basically they'll give you the same door because the truth teller is going to tell you, oh, the other guy lies. The liar is going to go, oh, the truth teller lies. So you get them to basically both lie.
Nice.
I'm pretty impressed, Eddie. That was very good. Most people don't get that one that
nice work.
fast.
Well,
Nice work.
It's once the question of which is the bad door came up, and you said, well, you still don't know who the truth teller and the liar is. I said, well, then you have to ask a question that's going to get you both. And so, yeah, that was fun. That's a good one, man. I like that.
Yeah, that was really good. Well, thanks for
Well, if
the
you want
suggestion,
If
Jay.
you want a tough one, at the end, I will give you the Monty Hall problem because then you got to do some math. But it's logic too, just really interesting logic. But we might have to save that one. I don't want to bore people.
We'll do that on the Ben Johns Part 2 podcast one. That's awesome though. That was cool though. I love brain teasers like that. Anything else coming in
And
on
Stephen
Facebook?
Westman did say, Stephen Westman just said, yes, just kidding around. Love you guys. So that's awesome. Thank you, Stephen. And it was a lot of fun playing you. That was an awesome time at the Beer City Open. Even though we got our butts kicked badly, but hopefully we'll redeem ourselves in January because Eddie and Webby are reuniting on the pickleball court for the East Naples Winter Classic.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can redeem ourselves.
Spicy.
Yeah.
Should be.
All right. So I got a question for you, Ben. A lot of people your age are still really into video games. Are you, or have you ever been a gamer?
Ooh, okay. Currently, I can't do it. I don't really ever play. I just don't really have the time. I guess you'd call me a gamer from like probably 10 years old to maybe 16. I still like playing them. And then now I don't really have time, and they're just not as fun anymore. I guess over summer break, I did try Fortnite though. That game's everywhere. And that was pretty fun. I'd had more fun with that than I had in any game for a long time. But no, I'm not a gamer anymore, sadly.
Yeah, I feel your pain. I was a pretty hardcore gamer for a long time. And then I'd say once the birth of my daughters happened, I pretty much gave up gaming for a good 10 years. Then I kind of got back into it again. And then I'd say as soon as pickleball entered my life, I've barely played video games. I mean, I too also play Fortnite pretty regularly because like you said, you can't escape Fortnite. You got to play Fortnite at least a few times here and there. But yeah, I barely play video games compared to how I used to ever since pickleball entered my life.
Yeah, pickleball is more addictive than any video game.
Oh, for sure. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. Now, did pickleball have anything to do with you stopping being a gamer? Because I noticed you said you played until you were about 16, and then you were 16 when you started playing pickleball. Did that have any kind of relation?
Any correlation? I would say that's mostly coincidence. I guess I would rather be playing pickleball than video games at that time, but at that time I kind of already stopped. So,
gotcha.
Guess,
okay.
Maybe correlational. I don't really know.
Nice. So you said you played tennis competitively. Are there any other interesting sports or games that maybe you also played competitively?
Yeah, so sports. I grew up kind of in a baseball family. I played baseball from 6 to 16. I was a pitcher. I played table tennis primarily from when I was about 9 to 12. I played that competitively a lot. And then I kind of got busy with other things and I stopped playing so much. But I've recently been trying to play a little more because here at UND we got a lot of good players. So I will try to play with them occasionally. So that's table tennis and baseball. You already know about tennis. And I also played, well, not really a sport, card game. It's kind of a little bit famous, I guess. I think it has like maybe 15 million players worldwide, which is quite a few when you think about it. When pickleball is, a little under that, but it's getting there. Yeah, it's called Magic the Gathering. And I played that competitively from when I was like 12 or 13 to 16/17. And I will say that one
competitive.
That one, yeah, I played that a lot, and I really loved it. But once I started playing pickleball, I stopped playing that quite so much, and so my decline of that was definitely related to pickleball. I just played pickleball so much in like the first year, as much as I possibly could, and I didn't really want to play that over pickleball.
Now, when you say you played competitive Magic the Gathering, do you mean like just you and a group of friends were just super competitive against each other, or did you actually like travel and play like at specified Magic the Gathering courts or whatever you call them?
Yeah, so it's a card game and not play with standard cards. But yeah, you go to usually they're game stores basically, and you play tournaments. I've competed in tournaments that have over 800 players in them.
Oh wow.
And you do play one-on-one, and you just go through many rounds in a day. So we think we have it bad in pickleball when we play 6 rounds in a day. I would play at least 9 rounds sometimes in these tournaments. Wow. So you'd have local tournaments where it's only like 30 people, and that's what I do most of the time. And then I would travel occasionally. I got to go to a few cool places. I mostly kept it pretty local for it because there's so many players. I didn't really need to travel a lot. But one year when I was playing a lot and pretty well, I won some invites to real big tournaments with a lot more money. So then I traveled a little bit for those ones.
That's awesome, man. I really had no idea that it was that big. I've seen some people play before, but I had no idea that it was that big of a game. That's pretty cool though that you got into it.
It's a fun and another very addictive game.
Yeah,
the addictive ones will get you.
Well, this is 2 episodes in a row where I learned about very interesting competitive things that are out there. So today we learned about Ben Johns being a competitive Magic the Gathering player. Last week we learned that Scott Golden, he played professional flag football as an adult for 10 years. I didn't even realize that was a thing. Yeah. So yeah, very cool. Very interesting things we're learning here. One thing I've got to ask you though, something that I deal with really bad, and I believe Eddie deals with this also, and that is pre-tournament jitters.
Yeah.
Do you or have you ever had a problem with the pre-tournament jitters, and how do you deal with them?
So I would say, everybody gets them. It's natural. And dealing is, I compare them to exams. I can compare a lot of things to exams right now. The more prepared you are, the less jitters you're going to have. So if you prepare a lot, I promise they're not going to feel as bad because you're just going to be more confident in yourself. If you're feeling the jitters really bad, you're just probably not prepared. So that's my number one tip. Be prepared and just good things will happen. And even if you do still have those jitters pretty bad, just things, they naturally just, your preparation kicks in. And even if you're not feeling great on the court, it's going to kick in and you're going to start playing well. So if you can prepare, do that. And not just with pickleball, get your sleep, get good food, prepare. So that's number one. Other than that, I would say if you're tight while you're playing a match, to loosen up, I mean, don't be afraid to just hit shots I wouldn't say you normally wouldn't, but try to play loose. Don't play tight. You're only going to get tighter if you keep trying to play tight. So when I felt like I was way down in a match or I felt a little bit tight, I'd try to unleash some more loose playing shots. So I'm not attacking dumb shots, but I'd hit some drives, and I would attack more because generally I feel like the more you attack and apply pressure to your other opponents, if it's not just dumb attacks, then it applies more pressure to them and it makes them feel tight. So you kind of reverse that and put it on them to make themselves play looser too. So those are the top two things I would say about jitters.
Nice.
All right, very nice, very good tips. And what you said about the being prepared, that actually makes a lot of sense, especially when Eddie and I played at the Beer City Open. That was our third time ever playing together.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say our preparation as a team is very lacking. That's for sure.
Yeah, I guess my question for you is how important is that? Like, if you're playing with a partner, because twice now I've actually gone to tournaments and I met my partner either the day before or the day of the tournament that I played with them. How important do you think it is to, have that preparation time with them?
It also really varies on the person, I think. If you're a person that kind of can get to know a person, and I mean, it has to be, it has to go both ways. They also have to be this type of person. But if it's easy for both of you to kind of be easygoing and talk to each other a lot and communicate, if you're naturally kind of good at that, it doesn't matter quite as much because you kind of just get that natural chemistry faster. But it's obviously so much easier and it feels better to already have somebody that you're confident in playing with. So most of the partners I do play with, I have played with quite a few times. And it's also nice that once you're at the pro level, it's kind of a smaller world, so to speak, so that you've probably played with almost anybody you're going to keep playing with, right? So you kind of rarely get that feeling. But the few times I have just showed up to a tournament and played with somebody, I thought it was really fun because it's kind of, you kind of got to learn on the fly. It wasn't quite so easy or successful to play at first. I especially found that in mixed doubles because I would always play tighter than I usually would because you could talk to them about it, but really in mixed doubles, you got to feel out how much they're comfortable with you coming over and that kind of thing. So I always felt tighter in mixed doubles with a new partner. But it was really fun to kind of feel that out and get to know somebody over the course of a tournament. So it's fun and it's important to have somebody you're confident in. So, there's upsides and downsides. But yeah, it would be really, really good for your results if you already know that person and you're really used to playing with them.
That's cool. Yeah, I know that I definitely still struggle with the pre-tournament jitters quite frequently. So it's something I definitely want to be able to improve on. I had them this morning, before I played mixed doubles big time. So I'm still trying to figure out the best way to be able to overcome that. So thank you. That definitely helps.
Yeah, definitely. I need a lot of help in that category. So hopefully I can take some of
I forgot one tip.
Oh, what's that?
I did forget one thing, guys. And I don't know, maybe you do have experience with this since you've been playing 3-5. But the more you play up, the more used to feeling loose you get because you don't really have expectations, right? I would say one of the loosest times I can remember playing is the first term I played the US Open in singles pro. I didn't know anybody. I didn't even know how good I was or how good anybody else was. I was like, hey, this is a funny sport. I'm just gonna go out there and hit the ball hard. So I couldn't have felt more loose. I just like I'd been used to feeling nervous and tight in tennis and other competitive sports, but in this, I didn't feel anything because I was just like, sure, I wanted to win, but I was like, hey, there are no expectations here, right? This is my first tournament and I'm playing with pros. So I had no expectations of myself. And I feel like if you feel like you get the jitters a lot, just go up a division. Your expectations go dramatically down. So what's to feel tight about? Just go out there and hit the ball and have fun. So play up a level.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I completely agree with that because recently I was doing some rec play, and two of the best players of the place, they played against me, and one of the beginners was on my team, and the guy that I was playing with, he was like, "Oh man, we're gonna get destroyed," and I was like, it's gonna be tough to beat them, but let's go for it. And I feel like we played really good. We lost, but it was a super close game, and we did a lot better than I expected us to do. And then Eddie, even at the dink for pink, I kid you not, the match that I played against Eddie, I did absolutely horrible. I built up all this pressure for myself. I was like, I gotta beat him. I'm a way better player than Eddie. I can easily beat him, and he ended up beating me. But then the other games I played, I was playing on teams that had 4.5 and 5.0 players, and I played way better in those games. So I think it's just like what you said. Like I just assumed that I'm not going to do good at all in this game, and had nothing to lose. Exactly like what you said. That makes a lot of sense.
It's you play up to your level, and I would say as a player that when I'm playing against other players that view me as somebody that they are playing up against, the ones I fear the most are the ones that think that, and they will go for anything. That's why you get upsets, right? Because on paper, when you have a better team, if both play like they're normally going to play, the better team's going to win. But the reason the worst teams win is they're like, hey, we got nothing to lose. Sure, we're more likely to lose this match. That's just being honest with yourself. But the point is knowing that you can win, right? Because your top level can beat their level, right? So I just feel like playing up, that's what happens. You play up to your competition because you don't have any pressure and you play to like your full potential. Sometimes. Other times you're not feeling it and you get destroyed because
Right.
you play loose, but things don't. But sometimes that ball just won't go in. So
Yeah, that's good advice. I think Webby, you and I should sign up for like 4.5 for the Winter Classic.
Let's go 5.0. No, let's go 5.0. Let's go 5.0 next time.
Let's go.
all right, get crazy, guys.
And I'm going to say,
fine.
Ben Johns told me to get rid of my jitters. I need to play 5.0, so let's do it. No, I definitely see what you mean, though, man. I think it's a good idea to play up a little bit.
I feel like there needs to be an Eddie and Webby match against Ben Johns and Kyle Yates. What do you think about that?
Oh, well, do I have to come to Michigan? Because it's going to be cold.
No, you come down here to Naples, man.
We all go to where Eddie and Kyle are. That
Yep.
sounds good to me. I get to play a match and I get to be warm. It'll be lovely.
Be a fun time.
I say we do it.
Let's do it. That's awesome, man. Well, Ben, this has been a great time hanging out with you today, man. This is your opportunity, though, to be able to tell the world what's going on with you. If people want to follow your pickleball journey or anything that you want to share, man, this is your time.
All right. Okay. Well, now I have the mic, so to speak.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess any updates that if you'd like to continue to get stuff from me, you can follow my page on Facebook. And other than that, I already mentioned it briefly, but Pickleball Vacation Adventures. Come on an adventure with me. We have a site now. It's just pickleballvacationadventures.com. We're going to Mexico in January. We're going to Ecuador in August. I think Israel's in the planning stage. So I'm really excited to go to these places, and I know everyone else is, because you get to travel, you get to a vacation, and you get pickleball. So I'm psyched. And anybody that wants to come on one of these, they can check it out.
That's awesome, man. That's cool
Yeah, it
to
is.
be able to travel to a destination like that and play the sport that we're all addicted to. Sign me up. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Right?
great. Yeah,
For
I
sure.
expect to see you guys there soon.
yeah. Let's do it, man.
Definitely.
Webby, anything else from the socials? Any questions or anything coming in on Facebook?
We just got one. I think this is from somebody that kind of tuned in just recently because we did kind of cover this. But Scott Rosier wants to know, maybe Scott Rosier, Ben, how many hours of pickleball do you play on average each week? So this is a chance for us to see if we were paying attention. Eddie, do you remember
Here's the
the
quiz,
answer to that
guys.
question?
I think that Ben said that like leading up to a tournament, he's like, pickleball what? Like he puts his bag and his balls in the closet underneath all his books and everything else. He doesn't play at all. But then when he gets closer to the tournament, you said about 6 hours a week, right?
Yes, 6, sometimes a little more. If I can get it, that'd be great.
All right. Good. That's awesome.
All right, Eddie was paying attention. Nice.
Yes, I passed the quiz.
Atta boy.
Yeah. Nice. Any other
now one
comments?
thing I wanted to bring up, I don't see any more Facebook comments, but I think it's time to talk about a video series that we have been doing lately.
Mm-hmm.
Do you what do you have to say about that, Eddie?
Yeah, so we've been doing the PickleThug Life videos lately on a lot of our guests. And of course, if we have Ben Johns on, we have to put together a PickleThug Life Ben Johns edition. So I'm just going to go ahead and play it.
The serve switches sides.
So Ben and Kyle need to be a little bit careful here. That Loon and Dawson don't get on a bit of a run. You can see Ben and Kyle laughing when he missed that last serve. And yeah, they're going to want to stop the momentum of these errors right now. That's maybe why they called the timeout.
Oh, I love the dance. I love the
I like
dance.
it, guys. Wow.
Did you have any idea that in Vegas you were getting filmed when you were there dancing on the side?
I had a vague notion, but Rob Cassidy was right in front of me, so all thoughts of that just vanished, and I knew I just had to dance for Rob Cassidy. So
That was awesome. Yeah, when I was scouring through the footage of that, I'm like, oh, I got to put that in there because I'm like, I had no idea if we even knew the cameras were rolling or anything at that point, but that was awesome. Oh,
But yeah,
Well-
Ben, thank you very, very much for being here. We cannot thank you enough. This has been awesome. Got to learn a lot of good tips, a lot of inside information about the man himself, Ben Johns. This has been awesome. I don't know what else to say, but thank you for being here with us tonight.
absolutely, guys, this was a lot of fun.
awesome. And yeah, seriously, that was great. Yeah, keep crushing it, man.
Thanks.
All right. We will talk to you
All right, guys.
later.
All right, have a good
All
night.
right, see you guys out on the court.
Yeah,
you guys too.
Oh yeah.
All right, see ya.
Man, another epic guest on the Eddie and Webby podcast here. Can you believe that?
That was awesome, man. How cool was that? You know, Ben was so open about sharing all of his experience, his competitive sport background, and that was unbelievable. What a cool guy.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I feel like I definitely got some good tips from him that I can try to implement and hopefully help with my pre-tournament jitters and stuff like that. So we both got a tournament coming up in January, so hopefully we can see if it works for us.
Yeah, we're playing 5-0. Eddie and Webby are playing 5-0,
Yep.
baby.
Yep, no more 3.0, 3.5 for us. From here on out, it's just 5.0.
5.0. Oh, that was awesome. I'm getting a little thirsty, though. What about you?
I'm getting very thirsty
Yeah. For those of you
now that you mention it.
Yeah, for those of you that watch for pickleball, don't go anywhere because we are going to have some pretty cool updates coming up after the beer review. So go ahead and stick around for that. If you guys were just, watching to see Ben, then yeah, if you need to go, I get it. But if you're here for pickleball, stick around. We got a lot more content to do. But before we do that, I think we should jump into the beer review. And Webby, what beer are we going to be reviewing today?
Ah, yes, the beer review. I feel like it's been a long time since we've done an official beer review on the Eddie and Webby show, but I've got a beer right here, as a matter of fact. And actually, a fun fact, this beer was sent to us by our friend Matt Loria. And the beer is called Two Women from New Glarus Brewing Company. Hopefully I said that right.
Yes, you did. Yeah, I'm excited about this beer. Yeah, like Webby had mentioned, Matt had sent this to us a couple months ago, so I am excited to be able to try this beer out. So this is from New Glarus Brewing, and why don't we go ahead and crack our cans, let it breathe for a second, and while we do, I'm going to talk a little bit about New Glarus. Here is what New Glarus says about themselves according to the website. Welcome to our quaint little brewery nestled on the outskirts of New Glarus, Wisconsin. The brewery is run by enthusiastic couple Daniel and Deb Carey, who have successfully combined business management and brewing professionalism. Our philosophy is based on individuality, cooperation, and the employment of 100% natural ingredients to produce world-class handcrafted beers to our friends in Wisconsin. Cheers. Wow. Another great description about a brewery.
Yeah.
They are located in New Glarus, Wisconsin. They were founded in 1993 by Deborah Carey. It says that it was founded by Deborah as a gift to her husband. So I don't know about you, but if my wife bought me a brewery, I think that'd be a pretty sweet gift.
Yeah, that's not a bad gift. Did you already start pouring yours or not yet?
Not yet. Nope.
Okay, it's been so long since I've done these reviews. I don't even know what to do anymore.
I know. I'm all weirded out. But yeah, it's like, your wife's it's like, oh, do you want a new pair of shoes or some socks? It's like, no, I'm going to get a brewery for Christmas this year. That would be pretty sweet.
That would be sweet.
Yeah. A couple of other beers to mention from New Glarus. We have the Spotted Cow, which is a farmhouse ale, the Moon Man, which is a pale ale, and the Wisconsin Belgian Red, which is a cherry Belgian style ale.
Ooh.
Yeah. Actually, real quick mention, I know that Scott Golden, when he was live streaming a couple weeks ago from Missouri, he had Cassandra Gerke on there, and we were talking about how she's going to be on the podcast in the near future. And New Glarus was actually the beer that she wanted to be able to bring on. So we might even get an opportunity to have another New Glarus beer in the near future.
Yeah. It was the Spotted Cow, wasn't it?
Was that? I think that was.
Wasn't that
yeah.
the one she mentioned?
Yep.
I do believe so.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and pour the beer. And as we do, I'm going to read this description. 4,000 years before Christ, Sumerian women created the divine drink of beer. Viking women brewed in Norse society. European alewives were so successful as cottage brewers, they were taxed. Artisanal women lost their domination of the daily ritual of brewing during the Industrial Revolution. Today's brewing trade is controlled by men. The collaboration of two craft companies, both led by women, New Glarus Brewing and Wireman Malting, is unique. You hold the result, Two Women, a classic country lager brewed with Wireman's floor malted Bohemian malt and Hallertau Mittelfrühe hops. A tempting and graceful classic lager only in Wisconsin. Wow. What a description, man. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's cool they have the whole story behind it, and how they come up with the name and the ingredients in it. So that's pretty awesome. I love these descriptions.
Yeah, great description.
Yeah. For the beer nerds out there, this does fall under BJCP Category 5C, which is the German Helles export beer. Technically, there was nothing online that I could find that linked this beer to that particular style. But this one, I feel like it fits closest in when it comes to, all the different categories of beer. It does have an ABV of 5%, so, on the lower end. Undisclosed amount of IBUs, but typically in a beer like this, you're not really measuring for bitterness. It's not that important. And it's been so long since we've reviewed a beer. What's the first thing we do?
I do believe we check out the appearance.
I should take off my glasses here to be able to see. That's pretty, man. I mean, mine is crystal clear.
Yeah.
It's got
Yes.
got some coppery kind of hues to it, but it's like a golden coppery look. Very little head residing in it, though. I don't know if you're getting the same thing, but there's not a ton of head.
Yeah, very little head. I do see some carbonation, some bubbles floating to the top.
Nice. Yeah, really very pretty beer. Very clear. It's exactly what I would expect for this style. And now,
Yes, very nice looking.
yeah. Now we give it some sniffies, right? Some sniffy sniffersons here.
Yes, indeed. I can smell the fruitiness to it. Has a very refreshing scent.
This is very, very refreshing. I'm definitely getting a lot of that malty sweetness coming through in the aroma. A little bit of that fruity notes. It definitely smells like a lager, which I know is a crappy way to explain what something smells like. But if you put this next to an ale, even if it was lightly hopped like this one, you'd be able to smell the difference in what the yeast puts out as it ferments.
Yeah, I would say it has a very pleasant aroma, very refreshing, as we said.
I'm getting like a honey, like a natural warm honey on, toast or something like that kind of aroma to it.
Yeah, I can see that. Or smell that, I should say.
Yeah. That's good, though. What do we talk about next?
I believe we talk about my favorite part, and that is the flavor.
Yes, the flavor. Give it some sips here.
Okay.
Interesting. So I'm definitely getting a lot of that lagery, malty sweetness coming through, which is nice. I didn't get very many hops at all in the aroma, but I am getting it in the flavor a little bit. It's definitely just more like a hop bitterness than a lot of hop flavor aroma, but it's coming through definitely.
I don't know, I feel like I'm not getting a ton of that. Like I wouldn't think hoppiness at all when drinking this. So I don't know if like our conditions were different, but I feel like I'm not sensing any bitterness or any hoppiness on my end.
I think mainly what I was trying to get to is that there were almost no hops in the aroma at all, and I am picking up a little bit in the flavor, more than I was expecting based on the aroma.
Gotcha. I think you have a more advanced palate. My palate is not even picking up the slight bit of hoppiness that you refer to.
It's more like a bitterness, just like a hop bitterness.
Oh, okay.
Oh, in that case, yeah, I'm getting it. No, that's good though. To be honest with you, it's a very just easy drinking, clean malty lager. It definitely tastes more like a European lager than an American style lager, because you're getting a little bit of that carameliness in it to it as well, the malty sweetness. I'm really liking it though. This is a very easy drinking, very sippable beer for sure.
I agree. Very, very easy drinking, very refreshing. I could see this being a great beer to drink while at the beach or on a boat, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. on a boat, on a pontoon boat, on a platform boat,
on a
speedboat,
kayak boat, on
Yeah.
a rowboat,
on a canoe boat, on an inflatable
a
raft,
paddle boat even.
Yeah.
Paddle boat even. And I hate paddle boats.
Yeah, any kind of boat, any kind of boat at all. Not on a fishing boat though. This wouldn't be good on a fishing boat.
But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I would definitely drink this if people had it as an option. But I can't say that it's one that I would seek out and want to purchase. I cannot say that. If I want to be honest with you all, I can't say that.
No, it's good. And usually you and I are in alignment when it comes to our beer selections. I am going to agree with you that this isn't something I would seek out, but I do really like this beer. It seems like it's very well crafted. You can tell that this recipe was designed with the intention that it brings to you. It's obviously brewed extremely well. There's no signs of off flavors. It doesn't sound like there's any flaws in the brewing process at all. I mean, New Glarus is notorious for that, but this is a very well crafted beer. But I do agree with you. I don't know where this would fit into my selection of beers. I don't know that I'd be out at a restaurant and be like, oh, this is what I want, or I'd reach for it consistently if it was in my fridge.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's a bad beer by any means. It's very tasty. It's very good. But just with my personal tastes and what I am in the mood for, I feel like I wouldn't really be in the mood for this specific beer very frequently. But I mean, I would gladly drink it if somebody had one and offered one to me. I'm enjoying it now. Just can't say it's at the top of my list of what I would prefer.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
That's all I'm going to say about that. Well, mouthfeel, we touched on it a little bit. There's definitely some moderate carbonation, in my opinion. There was, almost no residual head at all, so I feel like a lot of that dissipated quickly. I'm not getting any astringency or anything. It's a very clean mouthfeel, so I think it's very pleasant there.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, all I can say is thanks again, Matt. This is the third beer that Matt sent us. They've all been really good. I've enjoyed all of them, and thank you very much, Matt, for your generosity.
Yeah, cheers, Matt.
Cheers.
Yep. That's awesome. Well, I know that neither you or I are going to have any idea where we left off on the next question because we used to alternate,
Right.
But whose turn is it to decide whether we chug or not?
So I say, if I'm not mistaken, this is our first official beer review, at least just with the two of us, since we played against each other at the Dink for Pink. And as much as I hate to say it, Eddie was victorious when we played against each other in the Dink for Pink. So I feel like you deserve the chance to decide tonight, do we chug or do we not chug? That is the question.
God, it's been so long since we've done one of these beer reviews, man. I just all of a sudden was like, wow, it really has been a while.
It has.
And sometimes we've decided to sip on them. Sometimes we've decided to chug them. We've, made that determination based on what type of beer it is, how much we had left in our glasses. And I don't want to disappoint anybody tonight, but I think I'm going to say let's chug it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
We're chugging.
Do your thing.
Ziggy zuggy, ziggy zuggy. Oi, oi, oi. 3, 2, 1, chug.
Wow, you wasted me there, man. Good Lord, that was.
And I feel like I had more in my glass than you did too. So I win hardcore tonight.
That's right.
You may have beaten me at Dink for Pink, but I destroyed you tonight.
Right. Destroy me at Beer Chug. That's cool though. That was awesome. I'm glad we brought the beer review back. We haven't done that one in a while. And honestly, I was looking at the notes and I forgot how we used to do it. It used to just be like so natural. We would whip it out, but
Right.
this time it didn't. I had to be like, oh wait, what do we do next? So hope you guys enjoyed that. If you do have a beer that you would like to, if you have a beer that you would like us to review, go ahead and throw it in the comments in YouTube or Facebook. We're on. Just get it to us. You can also download the Anchor app, leave us a voicemail. Maybe there's a beer you want us to review and you have a special story as to why. That would be awesome. We can play it on the air, and if we can both get that beer, which we likely could, we'll do a review of it. So,
yes. But I say for those that have stuck around with us, it's time to get back to some pickleball.
Oh, yeah.
And something that I've been dying to find out is the results of the tournament that Eddie just competed in. He played in a tournament yesterday and today. He refused to let me know how it went. He said I couldn't find out until we were live on the podcast. And I've been dying to know, how did it go?
Well, that's a very good question. I'm going to start with today first, and then I'm going to go back to yesterday. So I'm going to like Quentin Tarantino this up a little bit and like work backwards. How does that sound?
That sounds good. And how about we first start off with like what was the name of the tournament that you just did?
The name of the tournament that I was in was the Florida State Pickleball Championships right here in beautiful Naples, Florida at the East Naples Community Park, home of the U.S. Open. Good question.
Nice. Wow, the Florida State Championships. That sounds important. That sounds like a pretty big deal tournament.
Yeah, it was cool. I think there were about 400 people that signed up for it and that were participating in it, which is nothing compared to the U.S. Open, but still, a substantial amount of people were there, which is cool. I had signed up for men's doubles 3.0, which I played in yesterday, and mixed doubles 3.0, which I played in this morning. My USAPA rating is still around like the 3.4 something for men's doubles, and mixed doubles, it's in the low threes, right? So I'm definitely still playing exactly where I should be given my experience. Today, I played mixed doubles 3.0, and it was cool. We actually had a quite a fan base of like family and friends of me and my mixed partner. So it was kind of cool. We had a little bit of a cheering section. But anyway, I played with Vicky, who is my neighbor. I convinced her to play with me. She was a little hesitant at first, but then she's like, okay, all right, let's do it. So that was awesome. And I'm so glad I picked her as a partner, man, because we had a great time together. She lives in my community. We get to play together at least 3 times a week, and sometimes more than that. Like we'll go to East Naples on the weekends and play, but great partner. This was her first tournament she has ever played in. And mixed doubles today, there were 7 teams in our bracket, so it was a double elimination. And the very first round, so we showed up this morning. I got there a little bit early, like around 6:30, because I helped set up the computers and stuff. But my partner got there around 8:15 or so. And we show up, and we're looking at the bracket. And first round, we get a bye. So, Webby, first question for you is, how do you feel about in a double elimination getting a bye on your first round? And anybody on Facebook or YouTube, give us your opinion on that. But Webby, I want to hear yours.
I mean, it's good because that counts as a win, but I don't know. I would feel a little disappointed that my first game isn't an actual match. So, yeah, I mean, that's cool, I guess, but not an earned victory. I don't know. Is that what you're trying to find out? If I think it's an earned victory?
Well, I mean, does it set you up for success, right? And you know, because when you play your first game, you're playing against a team that's already gone through their first game and won their first game, right? So not only are they nice and warm, not only have they gotten their tournament jitters out, but they also won. So you know that they're obviously better than, well, they played better than the other team that they were up against. So I definitely
feel you were at a big disadvantage going into the next round. There's no doubt about that. And I feel like everybody would agree with that. I would think anyway that you would be at a disadvantage, because I don't know about you, but for me, it takes me a good 2 or 3 matches before I feel like I'm really loosened up and warmed up enough to start playing at my peak. So yeah, to me, you were definitely, your team was definitely at a disadvantage going into the next round.
Yeah, I kind of felt that way a little bit. And like I said on Facebook, guys, go ahead and throw your comments in there if you have an opinion on this. But I did feel like by the time we started our first game, the other team, they were warm. They already kind of got in flow. They were doing their thing. So it was a little weird to me. When I first showed up, I actually thought, oh, great, this is an advantage. You know, they're going to be a little bit worn out for their game before. Because, you know, East Naples, man, they have such a good system that you don't have a lot of time between matches, because as soon as you're done, they put it in the computer, they're announcing you go, you get your court assignment, and you're on it very quickly. So you don't get a ton of time between them. So I thought, oh, this is good. They're going to be a little bit tired, but anyway, we lost our first couple games here, both 11-2. So we didn't do too well for that first round.
And we did get a comment from Scott. Scott had commented earlier in the episode, and he just said, it takes me at least one game to warm up, and I think most people do. So when I get a bye, I come in cold, and the other team is at least warm up. Buys suck. And I totally agree with that. And like I said, you were absolutely at a disadvantage.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. And yeah, I kind of think that is, because honestly, don't get me wrong, I do feel like the team that we played against, it was a husband and wife, Mike and Lisa Hogan, awesome people. They were super encouraging. There's so much fun to play with. I do feel like even if we would have come in warm, they probably would have beaten us, because they were locked in, man. They were solid today. But still, I think we probably would have performed a little bit better had we had a game under our belt going into that. But anyway.
Yeah, I bet you guys would have at least gotten 5 points if you didn't have a bye that first round.
Yeah,
that's my prediction. You would have had 5 points.
More than 2 per game, right?
Right.
Yeah. So now we go into the losers bracket, or as I like to call it, the opportunity bracket, because I hate that name,
Yes.
losers bracket. It's such a crappy name for it. But
anyway, it is such a downer. It's such a downer.
Right.
The losers bracket. Oh,
Yeah.
time for the losers bracket.
Yeah. Okay, losers,
fun.
you guys go play in the loser courts, right?
Right.
But,
All right,
anyway.
loser team number 1 against loser team number 2, and go.
And go. Who's going to lose the loser bracket? So anyway, so we go to the losers bracket and we play our first round, and we started to get our flow going, man. You know, I'm sure, you know, Webby, in the matches where you won your gold medal with your partner, I'm sure there were times during the match where you guys felt like you were totally in sync, you're in rhythm, you're playing well, like everything's going awesome, right? I mean, can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, for the gold medal match, actually at the beginning, we were not in sync. The other team scored a few points real quickly, and I was getting a little nervous. I was like, "Oh man, here we go again. I'm gonna lose in a game where it counts in the tournament." But then all of a sudden, we just kind of clicked, and about midway through, we had a real good flow going, and yeah, I definitely know what you're talking about.
So we started to get this game, right? And we were just having fun. We had a cheering section, and it's kind of funny. Like, while we were playing, it was deathly quiet on the courts that we were playing, and we had a little bit of a crosswind through the courts, and they didn't have any of the little, you know, like wind blockers on the gates. So it was a tough game, and it was deathly quiet. And so I was like trying to get the crowd pumped up around us, like, let's get some energy going, man. Let's do it. And they started to get into it, which was really cool. And my partner and I, we had a run. Vicky and I started to get a run going. We had the lead for the majority of the game. Everything was awesome. We switched sides at 8, right? Because it's 1 game to 15, so you switch sides at 8. We're on the other side, and we're just crushing it. Like, I mean, we are totally in sync. Point, boom, boom, boom. And the other team just came back, man, and they beat us 16-14.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
Bubba, no.
yeah. So anyway, today was so much fun. You know, I'm so grateful for Vicky as my partner. She was an awesome partner. I would play with her again in a heartbeat. Her and I are extremely compatible. I think when we play, she might not think so, but I enjoy playing with her. She's super fun. She's very relaxed on the court, which is cool. And like I said, I play with her, sometimes 3 times a week, and she has this wicked block drop that she does. And so if we're ever running a drive on her, or we get we get a ball hard at her, she does this beautiful drop that puts it like 3 inches into the kitchen, and it's completely unreturnable. And that to me is a skill that's very hard to stay calm enough and keep your paddle real loose to drop it. And that's one of her specialties. And she's just awesome to play with. So very grateful for her. In fact, I have a picture of her and me that I would like to be able to show on the screen here. So there's me and Vicky outside of the court that we lost our last match at. So that was fun. Good times.
Nice photograph.
Yeah.
Look at that photograph.
I love it. I love how after you slam your beer, you start making all these music and movie references. Keep them coming.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. All right. So that was today. Tons of fun, though. Playing at East Naples is such an experience. It's something that I hope everybody gets the opportunity to, because it's such an amazing facility. So,
And I will get that opportunity at the end of January. I can't wait.
Yeah, Winter Classic, baby. Well, let's rewind to yesterday a little bit here. So I had found a men's partner, and we emailed each other using the players needing partners, section of the pickleballtournaments.com website, right? So I emailed him. We felt like we were pretty compatible. So we signed up together. And his name's Ryan Rowan. Cool guy. He was actually a fan of the show. But what's funny is when we signed up together, he didn't know that I was Eddie from Eddie and Webby. Later, he found out and everything, and he's like, "Oh, that's so cool. I'm a fan of the show." So that was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. So him and I partnered up. We were playing 3.0. They had combined the 35 plus group and the 50 plus group into one, but there were only 3 teams. 3 teams. Only 3 teams. So we did round robin style, where you play each team twice. And then at the end of it, it's who has the best record. And then if you're tied, then they go to the number of points, right? Is that how the round robins worked that you've played in, Webby?
Yep. That's exactly how it worked. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well,
Cool.
it's how the round robin worked in the Heartland tournament I did. The actual round robin tournament that I did, it's hard to explain. The first round robin tournament I did was like solo, and it's I still don't even know if I follow how it works to determine, like, I mean, it's all based on wins and points and so on. So that's how it all works. But yeah, anyways, it was the Heartland tournament I did was just like what you described.
Okay. So yeah, again, there were 6 rounds, 2 buys, and then you play each team twice, right? So that was kind of cool because you got to play a team and then come back and strategize a little bit and then play them again and and see how you do. So Ryan and I started, and the first match we played against some of the coolest guys in the world, Mike Hogan, which is funny because Mike Hogan was who we played first round this morning as well when him and his wife were in mixed. So yesterday we played him. And we played a gentleman named Michael O'Leary, and he actually plays from a wheelchair. So it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it was cool. Like if you guys don't know about Michael O'Leary, there you can look him up online. Really cool story. He used to play before he was in a wheelchair, and I believe he was like a 4.0 player, pretty solid player. And then, whatever happened to him happened. And now he actually plays from a wheelchair. And let me tell you something, man, that is totally, he's such a solid player. I mean, to think that now he gets to be able, he plays from a chair and he's able to perform at the level that he does. Like, man, it was unbelievable. It was so much fun being able to play against him and his partner, Mike.
Yeah, that's super impressive. That's awesome.
Yeah, he had some amazing shots that were incredibly hard to return. They were such a joy to play with. Almost everybody I play with in pickleball tournaments, they're a lot of fun. But they were the kind of guys where we were almost rooting for each other a little bit, right? Like they got a good shot, it's like, hey, nice shot, man. Or if they might have biffed it into the net, it was like, hey, that was the right idea. Just one of those games where you're like, oh, this is awesome. So anyway, that was really cool. But we ended up losing to them. And we lost 15-13 because it was 1 game to 15, win by 2. So we lost 15-13 in the first round.
Close one.
Then we go to round 2. We play the other guys. They were cool. They were actually brothers, Jesse Marshall and Brian Marshall. Really, again, cool guys that we got to play with. Same situation, a lot of fun, very encouraging. And we lost to them. We lost to them 15-10, right? So the good news is the games that we lost, though, you know, we didn't lose by much, right? We had 13 in one round and 10 in the other. So from a score perspective, we were still doing good.
Yeah, sounded like good close games. Those are good, fun types of games to have for sure.
And Ryan, my partner, he's a very energetic kind of guy, and he was giving me a lot of coaching during it because he definitely was the better player out of the two of us, right? Like, I don't have any issue telling him that. Like, he definitely was the better player, and he was coaching me a lot too, which was awesome. He was helping me kind of calm down, stay in the game, get into some long dink rallies. And let me tell you something, man. We had some dink rallies that, I'm not kidding you, might have lasted 15, 16 shots, which at 3-0, I don't think you ever get to a point like that, right?
Nice.
So,
that's awesome.
He's coaching me a lot. We're working together. We're calming down. We're having fun. And we come back and we win the next 2 games.
Nice.
Yeah. And which is funny because actually game 3 was the first game I've ever won at a tournament. So that was kind of cool as well.
Congratulations. It's a
Thank
good
you.
feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was really cool. But now we're at the point where we're 2-2, and both other teams are also 2-2 as well. And so we win this match, and we still don't really know what the rankings are. The good news is we knew we were going to win a medal because there were only 3 teams, right?
Right.
But we win the match. We don't really know what's going down. And we're sitting there, we're waiting, we're talking with the guys that we played against, right? And we intentionally didn't tell what our scores were on the games that we lost because we didn't want to know. We wanted them to announce it. And so, boom, here it comes over the loudspeaker. We're at East Naples, like one of the greatest pickleball facilities in the world. And boom, they announced it. Eddie and Ryan, gold medal winners.
Oh, nice.
Yes, baby.
Congratulations. Hell yeah.
Thank you, man. I'm going to take my headphones off so I can put on my gold medal here.
That is awesome. Very nice.
Yeah, man. So took home the gold. It was awesome. Such a cool experience. Everybody we played with were great. And honestly, it really, I think the differential between us and the silver medal winners was 5 points. So
wow.
Everybody we played against were extremely competitive. We were all very equal in our skill set. I just think that Ryan and we were able to work together and encourage each other and just figure out a way to win, man. And it was awesome. It was such a cool experience.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it was really, really quite a very nice experience. And these medals are really nice. I don't know if you can see them close up here, but they have the Southern Tropics Pickleball on them. And they actually have on the back, like, you know, so you remember where you won this, the name of the event and the date and, you know, which area or which tournament you entered. So super cool.
Very nice. Yeah, I like that. And I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you to the Earned Gold Medal Club.
I knew you were going to do something like that, man. As soon as I knew I announced it, you're going to try and figure out a way to turn it back to you and your previous gold medal winner. So that's awesome, though. And thank you.
Well, now I can't throw it in your face that even though you beat me at Dink for Pink, that you didn't have an earned gold medal like I do, because now you do. So
yes,
man. So I'm gonna have to wait till our rematch happens to determine that I'm the better player between Eddie and Webby.
We'll see about that. But that was awesome. And I actually have a little picture here of us at the podium that I'm going to show you. So there's me and Ryan in the center there. Yeah, such a cool experience.
Very cool.
Man.
Yeah, congrats. Yep. That's awesome.
Yes. Very excited about it. Once again,
there is a
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I was gonna say there is a Facebook comment here. Scott once again left a comment saying you guys need to come out to a tournament in Utah. We have some great ones, including Tournament of Champions, Fall Brawl, Mountain Regionals, Rock and Roll Triples, Western Roundup, and most are played in St. George. So, man,
Wow.
Utah sounds like the place to be for pickleball tournaments.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. That's awesome. We should try that. We should go there and do it.
Yeah, I would definitely be down for a trip to Utah.
Yeah. So that's my experience at the Florida State Championships. That was
That's
awesome.
That's a good one. Yeah, very, very. I was on the edge of my seat. I'm not gonna lie. I was on the edge of my seat. I kind of thought you were gonna say that you guys got the bronze medal after all that, but just I was hoping you were gonna say that just so I could throw it in your face that you got the silver medal when there was only 2 of you, and you got the bronze medal when there was only 3 of you. But,
you had that prepared.
Can't say that now. Yep, I did have that prepared to throw in your face, but no. But that's awesome. That is very awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. I did get video of all the matches too, so I said I'd be throwing together a little video, and everybody that I played with was totally open to me getting video of it too, and they were, excited to see what I come up with. So when I get time here in the very near future, I'm gonna throw together a little video and post that on our YouTube channel. So keep an eye out for that.
Very nice.
Yeah. Enough about me, Webby. Any updates about pickleball from you, Mr. Ambassador Webby?
So I don't have a lot, but I do have 2 fun updates to bring up. One of them is I just recently went to a very fun Christmas party at the Romulus Athletic Center here in Romulus, Michigan. That's the one of the clubs that I play at most frequently. Awesome group of pickleballers there. And just this past week, we had a fun Christmas party. There was 3 hours of open pickleball, followed by a nice luncheon. And we had a visit from Santa Claus, and it was very fun. And I did get some video footage, so everybody can look forward to seeing some highlights of how that went coming up soon. But something I am super excited to bring up, I recently got my very first around the post shot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. It felt good. It felt damn good.
So talk to me about the scenario, right? What was the setup like?
So it was an awesome game. It was very close. We were going back and forth like crazy. I think at the time we were down. I want to say that they were probably winning 8-5, and it seemed like they were pretty dominant at the time. Things weren't going in our favor at the time, and then one of them hit a real nice shot. It hit the edge of the court. I was on the left side of the court. The ball hit just inside, just maybe like 2 inches from the line, and then it bounced out. I went running for it, and there was the opportunity, the golden opportunity to do an around the post. I have never successfully attempted an around the post. I hit it, and it went behind the people, and it landed in the back left corner. There was nothing they could do, and it was pretty beautiful. I'm not going to lie. It was awesome. Everybody was in awe. They congratulated me. Everybody ran to our court and held me up on their shoulders. No, that part didn't happen. I felt like that should have happened, but no.
Right.
But it was such a great feeling, and I'm obsessed now. I want to try and get many more around the post shots because it was awesome.
Nice. So were they expecting it at all, or were they basically did they write you off like, oh, he's not going to get this, like don't even worry about
they
it?
ripped me off because there was no chance. I mean, if I was hitting it over the net, it was going to be a pop up that they could just easily slam. So it was either they knew that they got the point from the way they hit it, or I was going to set them up for them to just smash the ball back and get a point. So I'm pretty sure to them that was a guaranteed point for them. I hit the ball. And I felt like it was in slow motion. Like it went there, and they were just like, they turned around. They were like, because the ball just landed perfectly in the back corner. Man, that felt good.
That's awesome. Did you happen to get video of it?
No, of course not. I was not recording that game, so I don't have video of it. It never fails. I feel like the best games I play are the ones I'm not recording. But speaking of which, I mentioned the Christmas party and the open pickleball before the Christmas party, and one of the games that I did record, I had another perfect opportunity for an around the post, and I didn't take it. I tried hitting it over the net. As soon as I hit it, I was like, oh my God, this would have been a perfect around the post opportunity. And I just didn't take it. And it's just, sometimes it just happens so fast, you don't have time to think about it. But as soon as I hit the ball, I was like, man, that was the perfect setup for an around the post. And I didn't take it, and I hit the ball into the net.
I mean, the around the post shot, it's a low percentage shot. But when you nail it, it's basically guaranteed that there's nothing your opponents are going to be able to do to it. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So that's awesome, man. That must have felt good. Just like you welcomed me to the gold medal winner club, I would like to welcome you to the ATP club.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. I am very honored to be part of this club. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
And I'd like to welcome you to a club also. We're actually both in this club. It is the over 2 hour long podcast club.
Oh my God, man. I mean, we're trying to get this down to an hour, and it's never going to happen. Let's just face it, man. It's never going to happen.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, we should have known. We had Ben Johns on. I mean, we're not going to do a 30 to 60 minute episode when Ben Johns is on.
No, not going to happen. Well, anything else, Webby?
I think that's all I've got for you tonight. What about you, Eddie?
Yeah, we both wore sunglasses tonight, which I know last episode at the break you put yours on. I'm actually wearing mine because I got a bunch of sunscreen in my eyes today from when I was playing at the tournament, and they're all puffy. So I had them on because I've been blinking a lot. And but yeah, I kind of like it because then you never know where my eyes are. You can't tell where I'm looking. So I think we should do this more often.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. Yeah. I'm totally down with it. Plus, we look like our logo, which is right about there. I have to look this direction a little bit. Let's see. Right. There we go. That's about the logo look.
Actually, what's funny is I was wearing this exact same hat in that photo, and you were wearing that exact same hat. Interesting.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It works out perfect.
Funnier in my head than once I said it out loud. I realized it wasn't that funny. So, all right. That was a great show, man. That was a lot of fun. This is episode 29, which means that there are 29 listeners out there, and we thank each and every one of you guys. Seriously, we thank you. What do I usually say at this point? Oh, download the Anchor app. If you guys want to leave us a voice message that you want us to be able to play on the podcast, you can download the Anchor app, boop, 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 and you can leave us a message. It's super easy to do, and I guarantee you, if your message is good, we will very likely, almost certainly, but not 100% certain, but very certainly play it on the air. What do you say?
Yes, there's a very good chance. We actually had somebody do the research, and there's a 98.764 chance that it will get played on the show.
Nice. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram, both at Eddie and Webby. You can also follow us on Twitch now at Eddie and Webby. We're on Facebook now. We also have been streaming to the Pickleball Forum before they kick us out. We're going to keep doing that. You guys should also go out there and download the Pickleball Anthem on all your digital music providers. Is that the right term? I don't know. Go ahead and download that.
Yeah, sure. That works.
That works? Okay. Well, on that note, I'm Eddie.
And until next time, this is Webby, not Eddie, signing off.
See ya.